Hello, fellow movie lovers, and welcome to the Adam Snow Movie Show. I am your host, Adam Snow, and I'd like to thank you all for joining us today. We have a fun show planned as we'll talk about some of the news of the week, some exciting new trailers, and because I didn't get around to doing a standalone review this week, our big main topic this week will be talking about the new Dev Patel film, Monkey Man. We're both going to do spoilers, and it'll be spoiler free, so we do have timestamps down in the description, so feel free to jump to different sections of the video at your leisure, whatever you feel like you need to do. You can do that. So this week I am once again joined by my brother-in-law, Kyle, who has graced us with his presence yet again. Him and we both went to see Monkey Man, so that's why he's here. He wants to talk about this movie. I think it's his favorite one of the year. But Kyle, how you doing today?
I didn't burn out my eyes today, so I'm doing good.
I'm gonna say, yeah, it got really dark here, and then I was like, what's going on? And I forgot about the eclipse happening. I didn't have my glasses or anything, but I did kind of try to go outside and look with my cell phone to look at it. I couldn't make heads or tails of it, so I just came back inside. But
Yeah, we were at Sam's Club and everyone was outside staring at it.
did they have their glasses on, or are they all just staring like a bunch of?
Most of them did, but there was a old lady had her big goggle sunglasses on. She was staring at it, and I was like,
I thought you were gonna say she was
"What's
just
supposed to
like
work?"
she just gave up the will to see anything. So she's like, well, I'm at the end of my rope. I might as well just look at it with my bare eyes.
Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, so hopefully everybody was safe out there watching the eclipse. I would hate for people to, you know, ruin their vision over something like that. But Kyle, I know you got stuff to do. I got some stuff to do, so we're gonna go through this show. We're gonna try to be as thorough as we can, starting with our news section of the show. And we got a few topics this week. We'll see what you think about these. The first being director and screenwriter Drew Goddard, famous, but he's been known for projects like Cabin in the Woods. He's been attached to several other stuff. He is apparently helping develop a new Matrix film. Now, I think we see the last Matrix movie together.
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, and I wasn't too crazy about it. I wonder if it'll be a film that in a few years we'll appreciate differently. But as of right now, I wasn't crazy about that last Matrix film. Uh, what do you feel about them trying to go back to the Matrix well?
Well, there's a reason why I wore my Fast and Furious hat here because
Because you're balding?
no, because I think this Matrix is gonna start turning into like the Fast and Furious series where
How
they're gonna
so?
keep adding on and on and on and on to it.
Wasn't that any franchise? They add
Uh,
on to it as it goes.
but I guess with the money they made the last movie, like it kind of should have told them, hey, maybe just not make any more movies.
Well, that it didn't help that that one was released. Was like the day and date with HBO Max at the time. Max now, but I think that hurt it. Like you and I went and saw it in the theater. I think we saw it in IMAX, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but I don't know. What I like. The only hope I have for this is Drew Goddard being attached. I pretty much whenever his name's been attached to stuff, I've been pretty into it. Uh, he can bring a fresh new kind of look at what the Matrix franchise is. You know, the Wachowskis are not going to be involved. I don't think. If they are, it'll be not on the creative side, or at least getting a project up and running. So that might be the one thing that'll make me interested. Maybe it'll be a brand new cast. I don't know if they bring a Keanu back. I would love to see him and Carrie Ann Moss back, but uh, not a must, I guess, if they're going to try to reinvigorate a very interesting concept, which the Matrix is.
Yeah, we'll see. Like, I know if they want to go with a different view of the Matrix, but if they don't bring Keanu Reeves or the female actress back, like I
Carrie Ann
feel like
Moss.
that movie's gonna be doomed. But at the same time, like Keanu Reeves is getting up there in age. Um,
Is he
uh,
though? He's
with
like
that,
aging backwards.
yeah, well, with the way he looks, but with that storyline, there's only so many places you can go with it before you're like digging out of the bottom of the barrel, trying to think of new ideas with Keanu Reeves in it.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe this is the perfect way to transition into something different. Maybe it's in that world, but we don't have to even go to Neo or any of those characters. It can just be its own thing in a different corner of the Matrix world, and you know that's fine too. We'll see what they end up doing. Anything else about this before we move on?
Nope, except I'll be there first day in IMAX watching it.
I'll. I don't even think they've gotten a script written. I think maybe you need to wait till you see a trailer before you proclaim that much.
Nope,
All
I don't
right.
need to see anything.
Well, speaking of seeing stuff, we got a first look poster at Joker Folie à Deux, or however you pronounce that. Um, on the poster there, you got Joaquin Phoenix, you got Lady Gaga. The film is set to be rated R for violence and nudity, apparently. So this is clearly, going to keep up with the last Joker and just be that kind of violent type of film that we are used to. Tomorrow, a new trailer is supposed to drop, so we'll talk about that on next week's show. Other things they dropped, they said this is going to be a jukebox musical. There'll be about 15 pop songs they're going to kind of redo or, you know, probably make it like Moulin Rouge or something like that, which could be very interesting. And I think, Kyle, I don't know what you thought of the last Joker movie. I mean, $1 billion film. I didn't actually think they'd actually make a sequel, but here we are. What do you think?
So when this came out, I said, probably not gonna see it. Like the first movie, that is.
Uh,
So I didn't see it in theaters, but then I got around to watching it, either last year or the year before, or yeah, I think last year. Sat down and watched it, and I was like, this isn't a bad movie. This is pretty good. The only question about this new one coming out is is this gonna be like a true musical where it's just nonstop singing, or is this gonna have just like musical parts in it?
I think it's supposed to be kind of like a Moulin Rouge, where it's like you get a little bit of story, then you get some exposition and stuff sung through these pop songs, kind of working their way into whatever is happening to the Joker. Because I feel like this is all just going to be set in Arkham Asylum. He's probably not going to ever leave the building. Who knows? We'll see with the trailer tomorrow. But I just kind of think it'll be him and Harley, and through their therapy sessions, maybe they bust out into song and they express themselves. Like, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of heavy dialogue. Then there's going to be violence. So I'm wondering what violent scenes we're going to get with like a weird, like, how did they pair up Singing in the Rain with the Joker literally just slaughtering a room full of doctors or something like that? It's going to be off the walls, bonkers. I can't wait. I think making a sequel, a musical, when the first one wasn't a musical, is a ballsy choice. And especially a sequel to an Oscar nominated film, a film that was nominated for Best Picture. Like, this film was one of the 10 best films according to the Academy Awards, that year. So I don't know. Sign me up. Todd Phillips did a great job with the last one. I think Joaquin and Lady Gaga will knock this out of the park.
Yeah, it'll. Like, you've seen The Greatest Showman with
I
Hugh
finally
Jackman?
did. Yeah, it's one of my
Yeah,
girlfriend's
I've
favorite
seen that.
movies.
I've watched that like 3 times now.
Oh, gee, I didn't know you were
So
a song and dance man, Kyle.
if it's like that, like, yeah, I'll go see it because that was pretty good. So I expect this to be like sort of like that. So
Well, we'll see what they decide to do with that first trailer tomorrow. Is it just going to be kind of a tease? Is it going to be actual? Like, are we going to see some of the musical numbers? Going to be very curious to check that out. All right. Moving on to our next story, but we're going to stay in the world of DC. So the Joker film, is its own standalone thing. But James Gunn is rebooting the DC universe with his brand new DCU, starting with Superman next year. But coming out sometime after. We don't really have a release date for it yet, but they finally signed a director for their proposed Supergirl Woman of Tomorrow film. They are looking to be tapping director Craig Gillespie, who's directed such films as Dumb Money from last year, a film I liked quite a bit. I never did do a review for Dumb Money, but it was one I really liked. He did Cruella a few years back for Disney, another film I enjoyed. He did I, Tonya, which got a lot of awards buzz, and Margot Robbie was fantastic in it. And he did a little film that I love that's on my Blu-ray shelf called Lars and the Real Girl, starring Ryan Gosling. It's a very interesting film. I didn't realize he was the director of that. So he's got a great filmography behind him. And to tackle a DC project, to tackle a Supergirl like this, based off of a graphic novel that I have yet to read, I'm waiting to get like a really nice hardcover edition of it to read it because, as you can see behind me, I got all my graphic novels. But Kyle, what are your feelings on Supergirl getting a director?
You want my honest opinion?
That's why you're here, Kyle. I mean, we already know your
Uh,
opinion's trash because you got a Fast and Furious hat on. So, and who knows, if you're seeing everything properly after staring into the sun like a turkey, just
yeah,
staring up at the sky.
I mean, if James Gunn is back in this project of the DCU, like when it comes out in theaters, like I'll go see it. But right now, um, we'll have to wait and see what the trailers look like and go from there.
That's fair. With the film being based off of that graphic novel, which I haven't read yet, but I've heard nothing but fantastic things about. They got Millie Alcock, who is going to play Supergirl, who was one of the younger leads of the House of the Dragon show, um, which she's phenomenal on. If you ever get a chance to check out House of the Dragon, the first season, she's only in the first 5 episodes because then they kind of do a time jump. But she plays the younger version of one of the main characters, and she crushes it. And I'm very excited for her to be Supergirl. And she might be making a cameo or popping up somewhere in this new Superman film, but we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, there's not a whole lot to go on here. But I am very excited to have a Supergirl movie on the big screen because I enjoyed the Supergirl TV show that was out a few years ago. But the 1980 whatever one with Helen Slater, Supergirl, is trash. And I would definitely love to have a brand new Supergirl to kind of wipe that off of the history, keep that out of everybody's mind and have a new Supergirl that we can all enjoy. So,
Oh, we'll see.
yeah, we will see. All right. Well, Kyle, you don't care about Supergirl, but do you care about Marvel movies? I assume so because you have a FF on your hat there. So I understand that stands for Fantastic Four, right?
Yeah, of course.
Uh
Just
huh.
like the last couple movies, they were fantastic.
All right. Well, the Fantastic Four has cast its Silver Surfer. There's a new poster that might be hinting that the film could be set in an alternate world from the MCU. What are your thoughts, Kyle, on a Fantastic Four movie for the fifth time? This is the fifth time they tried to do it, but now it's in the MCU, or is it? What do you think?
Just like you said, the fifth time now, like you dragged it through the mud so much. Like, are people actually going to go out and see this movie now, or I guess they have the people casted already for it.
Yeah, for the
That's a
role of
for
the
sure
Silver
thing.
Surfer,
Just the surfer or everyone else?
they've got the whole lineup for the Fantastic Four film. Let me try to pull up the whole cast because I don't have that all in front of me at the moment. But so like you're gonna have Pedro Pascal as Reed Richards.
Uh,
You're gonna have Joseph Quinn coming in. He's gonna play the Human Torch. Vanessa Kirby's gonna be Sue Storm. Uh, Eben Moss Bacharach from The Bear is going to be Ben Grimm slash uh, the Thing, and they just the Silver Surfer actress they just hired was Julia Garner. She's going to play Shala Ball, who is a female version of the Silver Surfer. Totally different character. I know there's a lot of uproar going on right now with fans saying, "Oh, they gender swapped the Silver Surfer," but I'm not a big fan of the comics of Marvel comics. At least I got a few on my shelf. I think I got a Fantastic Four book in there somewhere. But I mean, even I kind of read. I was, oh, so this is a different Silver Surfer. Like there can be more than one Silver Surfer, and they're just picking this one, which fine by me. I don't know why we all need to get upset about it. Like, oh, we'll see if the movie's any good. If the movie's not good, then who cares who they cast or what gender the character is? I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
yeah, I don't know. With the way MCU is now, with all these alternative universes, they're getting out there. Like, if it's set in a different universe, and somehow they bring them back to the what do they call it? Earth
Earth 66616.
616 or something.
I
Like,
guess, yeah.
I don't know. If the movie does come out, let's have the movie in their universe, and at the very end they pull them through to Earth 616 or whatever. I mean,
So
that would be pretty interesting.
that's a theory a lot of people have, but I'm going to throw this wild theory out there because yeah, based on this poster, that they released on April 4th, that's got Johnny Storm on it for 444, 4-4 day. or I guess I don't know if that's a real thing or that's just something Marvel made up for this. But it's got Johnny Storm on there, and in the bottom you kind of see this different looking city, like a futuristic '60s city, which is why a lot of people think it's an alternate universe. But here's my theory, Kyle. I want to throw this out there, put it on the internet. I wonder if they start off in our world in the 1960s, the Marvel Cinematic Universe world in the 60s. They go through their experiment or whatever, and it ends up having them jump to the multiverse to some other place, either in the 60s or in the future, where it's like a weird, different type of future, but it's not their Earth. And that's where they've been stuck and trapped before they come back to the MCU to find, uh, the way the world is now with the Iron, not Iron Man because he dead, but all the Avengers and stuff back on Earth. That's my theory. I think they start on the main Earth, multiverse hop or go into the quantum realm or whatever. They meet the Silver Surfer, and then by the end of the movie, they find their way back to the main Marvel universe. That's my theory.
Yeah. We'll see when it comes out.
Yep, we got a while for it. I think next year it's supposed to come out, so we will find out then. And then our final story here. I know you should be very excited about this one. It is official. Legendary Pictures has confirmed, I believe, that Denis Villeneuve is set to return to do a third Dune film. And I can see on your shelf there, you got a Dune popcorn bucket. Not the famous popcorn bucket, but you got a Dune cup. You got a Lego ornithopter there. So as Dune's biggest fan on the planet, having never read any of the Dune books, Kyle, how do you feel about a third Dune film?
I've heard a lot of things about this Messiah story.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if Denise Villeneuve, whatever,
Wow,
if
yep,
he's
butchered the name.
gonna,
Good job.
yeah, if he's gonna go off that book or if he's gonna make a lot of tweaks to it. Because I heard that a lot of loyalists to the book series will get mad, or um, if he doesn't make any changes and the movie comes out, you're gonna have a lot of upset people that haven't read the books, um, dislike this movie coming up. So it's gonna be a tough challenge for Denise to do this third movie.
Denis, come on, the S is
Denise,
like
whatever.
silent. But look, I feel like Denis has had a plan from the inception of this. He says he's always kind of viewed it as three films, as this Paul Atreides arc, and it might not be the arc people are going to be happy about. So that's why I feel like he's good. Like having gone through Messiah, like I went through the book, I've listened to it on audiobook, and uh, it'll be interesting to see because I do think he can make a lot of tweaks to improve on the book. It is definitely not a perfect book, but I could see a lot of the elements he could change, and he kind of started that with stuff in Dune Part 2, which is different from the book. And I don't know, I feel like he's got a plan, and I think he'll absolutely crush it. And I think fans, while they might be initially like shocked at where the story is supposed to go, if you've been paying attention, it's kind of telegraphing the Paul Atreides arc because it's not a happy story. I mean, it's not going to be you know the end of Return of the Jedi where there's fireworks and Ewoks drumming on stormtroopers' helmets. No, it's going to be maybe a little depressing, maybe a little shocking, but if they keep kind of some of the core ideas intact, I think they could still make it work. And if they either expand on certain things or they tweak where they need to, they can still make this flow. Like they'll make the spice flow for sure. But I think under his you know leadership, this film will be great. I have no doubt. He has not made one bad film, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I expect it to be another big success movie. Like, I'll definitely go see it, and I want to make sure I actually either read the book or listen to it on Audible before the movie
Mm-hmm.
comes out, just to make make note of like all the changes that Denise made versus the book.
Right. Because yeah, like I don't know if I'll go beyond book two yet. Like I've got done with Messiah, and I've heard it gets really weird after that. I just don't know.
Oh yeah.
I just don't know if I can go further than that, but we'll see. Maybe something will spark me to continue on with that. So, all right, anything else on Dune 3 before we move on to the next section of the show?
No, I'm good. Just can't wait for it to come out.
Yep, same here. All right, guys, now it's time to look at what's coming to the big screen soon with some new trailers that dropped this week. Um, so we're going to start with one that Kyle, I know you watched because we did that before we hit record. The second trailer, I didn't make you watch because I figured you wouldn't care about it anyway, so I wanted to just add it. So anyway, the first trailer is for Bambi the Reckoning. Now, this is a film that is in the same universe as that Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey, where they've been these cheap, low budget horror films that they're taking classic like Disney characters and turning them into horrific monsters. And so they did Pooh Blood and Honey, Pooh Blood and Honey 2, and now I think Bambi is the third one. And a couple weeks ago we talked about on the show. I don't think you were on for that one, where they are turning these horror films into a shared cinematic universe where everybody's going to team up, because I think they showed Winnie the Pooh riding Bambi. So we'll see. It's going to get wild. I'm not saying these films are going to be great, but this trailer, Kyle, I like this trailer. The movie might be absolute dog shit, but I think it was a good trailer.
Yeah, you mentioned here no release date yet. I think they need to keep it that way because personally, I think the movie trailer for it looks stupid, and I'm definitely not going to be seeing this.
What? Oh man! So you're telling me if I surprise you with a screening of this, you wouldn't go?
Right.
Oh, that's a bummer. That's a bit of a
I'll
shame.
be sitting at the bar.
Look, come on, man. Like the way he roars, the way he flips over that car. You're telling me that this couldn't be? It could possibly be maybe even a little fun, even if it's completely dumb.
Nope. There's only one Bambi in this universe, and that was the original one.
Okay. I mean, I don't blame you. Like I said, I think this movie could be really bad, but I like the trailer. So that's me. All right, and the second trailer, you didn't watch this one, but I last year my buddy Ben, he got me to watch both X and Pearl. I went up there for a weekend and we watched those two movies. They're in the same universe, and so they're completing this what they're calling the X trilogy with maxxxine. It's a A24 film, the third chapter in this X trilogy. It is set to be released on July 5th, 2024. Now, Kyle, I don't know how big of a horror fan you are. I don't think we've ever really gone to see a horror movie, maybe thrillers. But this franchise may or may not be up your alley. I never had any interest in it, but when I watched it, I will give it credit. It was a little more entertaining than I gave it credit for. It is very weird. It's a very weird franchise. Mia Goth plays the main character in all of the films, or one of the main characters. She kind of plays different characters in each one, and in this one, it's more of it's set in the '80s about an actress just trying to get her big break in Hollywood. So, and I can't remember exactly sure because I'm not all caught up on the lore of the uh, X universe, whatever you want to call it. But she's kind of an adult film star trying to break into the film industry. But then now in the '80s, she's got to deal with some serial killer that's going around. So it's hard to tell if she's the killer again or if there's somebody else running around killing actors and actresses. And I don't know. It looked like it could be a fun, cheesy, good time. Kevin Bacon sneaks his way into this trailer. There's a few other actors I've noticed and other stuff popping up in this. So this could be a fun time. Uh, I know Ben will probably be excited to see this. So, yeah.
Yeah,
You,
I don't know. I don't really watch these types of movies, I guess, in the movie theaters. Like if I'm bored at home and want to watch something and this pops up on like Prime or Netflix, I might watch it then, but I don't know,
I
we'll
would
see.
definitely test out. Watch X first if you even get a curiosity for it. Pearl is a prequel, but it's very strange, very weird. But if you're into kind of that weird horror, it might be up your alley. It's definitely its own little like niche thing, and I know a lot of people like it. But I could also see where it would turn some people off. Pun not intended. So, uh, Yeah, so we don't have to keep talking about this one because I'm sure you just want to get to the main topic today, which is we're gonna since I didn't get to do my review as I mentioned up top, we're gonna talk about Monkey Man. We're gonna talk a little bit spoiler free first, then we're gonna just talk about it a little bit of spoilers. So um, this is a directorial debut from Dev Patel. Originally, this was supposed to be like on Netflix, but then I think Jordan Peele caught wind of it and went to Universal and had him, uh, you know, buy it from Netflix, put it in theaters, and here it is with a big wide release and not a big budget, but you know, uh, I think it's a good looking film. It's definitely the trailer sold me on a lot of the action and kind of making it like this John Wick esque type of film. It's what they were selling it as, and unfortunately, Kyle, I don't think that's what we got.
Uh, yeah, we didn't. Well, we got it, but we didn't get it. So,
Yeah,
first of all, like, I'm glad this came out to movie theaters. Just the way they shot it, the way it was presented to everyone was definitely good on Jordan or what Peele, Jordan Peele.
yeah, Jordan Peele. Yep.
The way he got it to the theaters, so good on him on that part. But yeah, I mean, so I won't spoil it, but like the first part was
We'll get
good.
to the spoiler. We'll get to the spoilers later. So just give
Yeah.
your general thoughts for right now.
Overall, I think it was a good movie. Um I didn't love it, but I enjoyed it. But there were some parts where I felt like I probably could have cut maybe 15 to 20 minutes out of it, and it would have flowed a lot better.
Yeah, there. So I I thought the first act was pretty strong. Little deliberately paced. You know, it was a little slow at times before it gets to that first big action scene to kind of round out the first act of the film.
Yeah.
But I was digging it. I was kind of digging where this film was building, and it's going into some places. And then the second act happens, and I'm sure we'll touch a little bit more of that in spoilers. But that's kind of where it lost me a little bit. Nothing, not for being bad. It's just it definitely ramps down and it gets a lot slower and focuses on a bunch of different stuff that we'll talk about later. Then the third act brings it all together and almost hits it home. Like there's a few little things in there, but for the most part, you know, you get a big third act action bit, action set piece that just absolutely was great and uh, a very uneven movie. But I do think Dev Patel for his directorial debut, shoot, I mean, not perfect. You know, it's not like a Christopher Nolan film out the gate, but I think for cutting your teeth, this is a great first film. A lot of stuff he could clean up, a lot of stuff he can learn. But you know, to act in it and star in it, and I believe he had a hand in writing it. Like, shoot, that's a lot to do. And you can tell he had a lot of ambitious ideas. But being a first-time director, you can kind of see those flaws. You know, the stuff maybe he didn't think about in terms of editing and pacing, because there is definitely some stuff that happens in this film that he jumps back and forth in time. I'm like, what are we doing? We kind of covered this, and we'll talk about those when we get to the spoiler section here in a bit. But I don't know. I think the acting is great. I can't say all these cast members' names because uh, I don't want to butcher them. But it's a good cast. I think this is actually a really good cast, and Dev Patel,
Yeah.
especially leading that cast, absolutely fantastic as the lead. And then you got like Sharto Copley in there, who plays like the underground fighting ring announcer. He's a
Yep.
lot of fun. So, and then there's one guy whose name, like I said, I'm not going to say to butcher, but in the trailers, he's kind of the main bad guy that Dev Patel's character is going after, and he kind of looks like a beefy Indian Freddie Mercury. And I just thought that dude was good too. He was a good bad guy, very menacing. So, what else are you thinking before we jump into spoilers?
Um. Yeah, like the action parts were amazing. Like just that type of like fighting or style or whatever, hand to hand combat, using the stuff around them. Uh,
Mm.
to help fight. Even like the some scenes where they other people join too, like that was pretty good. Um, Overall, yeah, I enjoyed it. Just that again, that middle part was a drag.
Yeah, uh, and we'll get into this. Like I said, we'll get into spoilers. Hold on a second. We'll do it after we give our grades for the film. So in that middle section, it does get very. And this isn't a spoiler, but it gets very political. There's a lot of interesting things they try to bring in, but I just feel like it feels so not out of place in this film, and I could see why Dev Patel would want to bring something like this into the film and have more of a, you know, political message in there or dealing with a political issue in his country while also it being a revenge film. But I just think that balance isn't there. I think that, uh, he just kind of whiffs a little bit on balancing that all out to make us care or be interested. And it's not that I don't find it fascinating. It's just, I don't know. I just don't think it was handled in the best way. That's just me. So.
Yeah, yeah. That you mentioned the political stuff. If you want to do like a Monkey Man 2 or even part 3, he should have waited to have that political stuff in the second movie to focus on the political person at hand there, and maybe have a bigger story of that, like the leader getting more bodyguards or whatever, and Dave Patel's character has to go fight them to get to their leader. Like if that would have happened, and this movie alone would have just focused on getting the main villain guy, like I think it would have been a lot. I wouldn't say better, but it would have been a little better film.
Yeah, I think um, I kind of agree to an extent, but I feel like they did lay some groundwork for kind of the hierarchy of the villains here. But I do think they could have left it a little more open ended to maybe go beyond that if they wanted to do more. But I'm fine with it being a one story, but it didn't balance everything out well. Like if it's a revenge story about him going after that one guy, cool. But like even Freddie Mercury, Mustache Man, had a boss, and that guy I thought was interesting, and his whole angle and what he kind of did to cause, because he's kind of the big ringleader of the whole thing. So that's who he really's after at the end of the day, for kind of even sending Mustache Man after Dev Patel's village. Uh, you've seen that in the trailers, but I don't know. It leans into so many other political aspects of, you know, that area of the world that I was like, man, like you were just so it was just so focused on being a revenge film, and then it gradually, like maybe not gradually, but it was like, okay, it's a revenge film, but here's all this political stuff kind of around it. And then it kind of went further, and it's just like, where did this all come from? That was just my thing. It was just like maybe a little too much to throw in there. Like, I think if that was something they wanted to tackle, it could have been built up to differently. But I don't know. It's not a perfect film. What would you end up giving this as a grade? You know, I give letter grades here on my YouTube channel.
If I had to give it a letter grade, just seeing it once, like I'll definitely see this a couple more times. But
Interesting.
my first grade, without seeing it again, would be like a high B, not a B plus, but a high B.
Okay. Yeah, I found myself after doing my whole, I go through my routine and figuring out my scores. I'm gonna give this a B minus. Um, it definitely, like I said, what saves this movie for me is a lot of the acting. A lot of the performances really carry this film. Uh, but there's a lot of other technical stuff that I was like, you know what? If Dev Patel could just manage to punch a few things up, this would have been a way better movie. And I still think it's good. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was good. Like I said, two of the three acts are really entertaining, and I would probably sit through this again now, knowing like that I'm going to be in for a bit of a slog in that second act. Maybe I'll see something differently. Maybe my attention span will be a little different, and I don't know. Maybe I'll enjoy it more on a second viewing, especially now that I know it's not the complete revenge thriller that I thought going in. But feel free to go. We're going to go spoilers now, Kyle, if you want, so you don't have to feel like you're holding back.
Okay. Oh, you want to do it right now? Okay.
Yeah, Go for it. What do you got?
So my biggest problem um, with this movie was the flashbacks of his childhood when the guy was going to their town, murdering everyone. But to me, it felt like just do it once, just get it all over with, and then have the rest of the movie. But they kept going back to it, like leading you on to more plots of the when he was a kid. Like
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was in the wrong spots of the movie. Um, but then they introduced the religious leader that caused all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
To me, that should have been held off, or it should have been talked about, but not so much. And then that should have been the main focus of the maybe like the second or third movie if they would have done one of those movies.
Right.
Um, but yeah, this movie should have just focused on the police chief or whatever they are in that
Yeah.
area of the country. It should have focused on him and maybe the club owner.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt if that would have happened, I feel like it would have been a little better movie.
Yeah, you kind of stole my thunder there a little bit. Yeah, one of my big problems was the flashbacks. Uh, what I thought at first, and I was digging it, was they were kind of giving you the pieces of the flashbacks as it went along, but not like beating you over the head with like this is the guy that killed it. Like you see it and you understand. They do it so well at first, and I was like, okay, I like this where they are showing, not telling us, and you can kind of pick up why he's doing what he's doing without them having to spend a lot of time, going through this flashback, like uh, seeing him, everything, all the problems of this village. I like that we were just getting these fragments because I was like, oh, this is great. Maybe we won't need to ever do a flashback. But like after all, they set up a lot of this stuff that we already kind of put together in our heads. Like, okay, that's the guy that killed his mom. Okay, this is the guy that essentially brought this whole group to slaughter this whole village so they could get the land for whatever this religious thing is. And they never really spent that much time on it, but they gave you enough to where you understood as a viewer. Then the problem was when they just all of a sudden flash back and tell you it all again. I'm like, didn't I already learn this? I feel like I was smart enough to have picked up on this, and you're going back through it. And that's kind of where the pacing was all over the place, and where a first time director might not have been able to, smooth that out. Like I felt like we were already given this great information in such small portions that you didn't need to even expand on it more. And they did, and I was that was a big problem for me. Um, the other big problem was this storyline with the transgender inequality in India. That was like the big, like one of the big political things happening. Then you meet like this other political leader that they're backing. I can't remember if it was like for prime minister or I forget the
Um,
title this guy was supposed to have, and how this was like a platform that he was like on. It was just, I have no problem with what the message was, or like that they were trying to stand up for those rights for those people. That's fine by me. It was just, I just felt like in this revenge story you had all this other stuff, and then all of a sudden this little subplot just gets thrown in there in the second act. I'm like, huh? And are they only introducing these people so that in the third act they can show up in those cool outfits for the action sequence? Because I mean, the cool action sequence with them, but uh, I just felt like, I don't know. It was just a really jarring thing, and it's not that I think that I don't agree with those. I don't care about transgender people. It was just more that in the terms of this story, it took me out of it a little bit. Where I was like, wait, we were a revenge movie. Now all of a sudden we're with these people. Like I don't see where they connect other than both of them going up against the main guy. But it just didn't really mesh real well. Like I said, I think on their own, interesting stuff. They just couldn't quite fit together the way I think Dev Patel was trying to get them to fit.
yeah, like that. When he got rescued by them, like
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure everyone in the movie theater, or whoever watches this movie, understands what's going on. But
Yeah,
the way they um, forced it down our throat of what they were doing, like I don't know if it needed to happen, but that definitely could have been cut out and have more focus on Dave Patel's um, journey
Dev.
of
You keep calling
getting
him Dave.
better.
His name's Dev. Why
Dev
keep calling him
Patel,
Dave?
his journey of like recovering, training, and all that stuff. A little more on that. Like, um, I think that would have been a little better too.
See, I feel like his whole training thing is like he's already a fighter. Like, why does he need to retrain?
Well,
I
for the first half, he wasn't really fighting. He was just getting the crap beat out of him.
That was kind of the fun part. I liked that he was kind of one of those action heroes that wasn't perfect. I liked that. I kind of liked that he was kind of the scrappy, like maybe he's got to figure it out. And I don't really think they trained him anything important other than like, can you punch this punching bag to the rhythm of these bongos? If not, you are not a good fighter. Like
Hey,
other than
I
that,
like that scene. That scene was
other
pretty
than
cool.
it was a good scene. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, did we need to see him relearning how to punch anything? I don't know. I just thought that was like he can already fight. He's just gotta be a little smarter about it. Like I don't know. It was just a little out there, and just like I said, it just didn't mesh. It just didn't completely work. Like I
Yeah.
think I could see like where he was going with it. Like, hey, this is the message I want to tackle. There's these people and their story, which is interesting, but it just doesn't. It didn't line up with me with the story they were already telling with Dev Patel's revenge. So
Well, if you've watched any like John Claude Van Damme movies back in the day, like Kickboxer, Bloodsport, in the
Kyle,
second
I'm not
act,
as ancient as you. I didn't watch any of that stuff.
but in the second act, he's always got to, because he's a fighter before, but he's got to train up. And then by the third act, he comes back and just beats the crap out of whoever he's got to get his revenge on. So
Yeah,
I
I
like
don't know.
those type of
I
movies.
luckily I haven't. Yeah, I know you do. Luckily, I haven't had to be forced to sit through any of those yet. But now I have a bad idea that maybe we need to do some Claude Van Damme movies
Yeah,
and
get
have
them
you
on DVD.
DVD. Yuck! God, how old are you?
Pretty
Look,
old.
anything else about Monkey Man before we call this a show?
Only that the last part where they should have cut it was when he faced off against his person that killed his mom and slaughtered the village, basically.
Yeah.
That fight scene at the end of the fight where he kept punching the guy in the head, like
Hmm.
that was, I don't know, it was pretty moving. Like you could tell, like he was um, letting out his demons as he was like punching him,
Oh yeah.
and I felt like they could have, if they would have ended the movie right there, I think everyone would have came back and said, "Yeah, pretty good movie."
I don't know. Even if they would have ended it there, I feel like the sins of the second act would not have. I don't know. I don't think people would have gone for a second one. Maybe they would have. I still might be depending on what they decide to do, but it does end in such a way that I don't know. Uh, because did I misremember that? Because he dies, or at least that's how I
Yeah,
kind of that's how I interpret it. Is that he dead? It's done.
yeah. I don't know if he, I don't know if he gets rescued, but we'll see. But
They could
yeah,
easily
also
walk
the
that back. They could
what?
easily walk that back.
But also that fight scene in the club with the people from the monastery coming in and that
Yeah.
music they played over it, like
Hmm.
that was a pretty good scene there.
Yeah, I could see myself going back and rewatching those action scenes. Like those set pieces are great. Like I said, I could watch that first act and third act all day long. I'm just gonna have to skip the second act.
Yeah.
Probably be better for it. Probably save me 20, 30 minutes and be in and out. Like probably be great. Maybe I'll give it an A at that point.
Oh yeah. Like if they fix that second act, like that they would have been an easy A. No
Oh yeah,
problem.
it would have been way up. I don't know how easy of an A it would have been, but I had liked so many of the other elements, and I definitely would have. This would have gotten a higher score for sure.
Yeah.
But not disappointed that I saw it. Just disappointed that it wasn't quite the revenge film we were hoping for. But still, not a bad time if you guys want to go out and check it out. All right, Kyle. Anything else before we wrap up today's show? Any more you want to talk about?
Nope. Except this week is Civil War.
Yeah, I can't wait for Civil War this week. We'll have
That'll
to
be
talk
interesting.
we'll have to talk about movie times here when we turn off the cameras. So, all right. If there's nothing else, Kyle, we appreciate everybody for checking us out. I'd like to thank Kyle again for joining me. This is was this your third time on the show?
Yeah, you're gonna have to start paying me.
Oh no. I'm broke. I can't just pay you like that. Anything you want to plug, Kyle, before we call it a show?
Nope. It's just that I'm in the middle of watching Shogun. If you haven't seen Shogun and you heard about it, go watch it because
Yep.
I'm 4 episodes in, and it is a wild ride.
I'm on episode 7, or I finished episode 7. Episode 8 drops tomorrow on Tuesday, so it's good. Yeah, you're in for a treat.
Good.
All right. Well, that'll do it for this week's installment of the Adam Snow Movie Show. We appreciate you guys for checking us out. You can find Kyle also on the World of Football YouTube channel, where he is the host of a podcast called Just Lying Around. I don't know if he's been working on that. If anybody cares about football or the Detroit Lions, go check that out. And until next week, guys, I'll be seeing you.